happiness through curiosity on TRS Clips. That gave me one of my best podcasts that
Really?
we've ever had. Yeah. And I was very shit at my job back then because
When was
podcasting
this?
was
How long ago was this?
2019.
Okay.
Yeah. Halfway through 2019.
Oh, nice.
He was very patient with me. Like, in terms of, he was one of the best possible guests you could have.
Really?
Yeah. One of my guys fainted and fell on him in the middle of the shoot.
He would have loved your eloquence and your, like, he would have also loved the language that you speak to him in. This is his preferred language, I think.
Little Hawe mein.
No, not Have mein, in the wind.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
no, father, like, he likes, like, you have a genuine vibe to you. You know, you're not like here to get the headlines, I think. And I think,
Am I? Am I, Sara? No,
are
I'm
you?
not.
Are you? Are you?
Maybe
are
I
you,
am.
Are you?
Maybe it's wrapped up in the middle of all this.
Which is great. Like, as long as you can tactfully fool us, we're good. Like, that's what it's about, right? It's all about what we perceive.
I'm not.
So I think that's what Abba liked about you.
You're very open to speak with, which is not the
Me?
case. Yeah. And so is your dad, by the way.
Yeah.
Very open, dude. Like, you know, every podcast teaches me something or something rubs off. And his eloquence and his classiness rubbed off on me. He's a really classy guy. And by class, I mean, the core rule is respect everyone around.
100%.
He's too respectful.
He is.
And that's the core of his classiness.
Always, you know, like I still remember him telling my brother also this one time that Ibrahim had come in late for dinner, for lunch with my father. And, you know, like Abba was waiting and all. So Ibrahim was like, hi, and the waiter came and he's like, hi, and he sat down. You know, he was in a bit of a rush. And Abba was like, you know, no matter how much of a rush you're in, just like look at the waiter and smile. It will make a difference. And Ibrahim always does that usually.
Yeah.
You know, Ibrahim's like my father like that. They're both supremely respectful to everybody. The first thing is like, Ramesh kaise ho? You know, to the driver. Liftman, chatting. So that like egalitarian, you know, just respect is something that I think my father's inculcated in his children.
Yeah. There was a message in there for you. I asked him a question about you, I remember. And then his basic answer was that she's going to figure out her own path. Like, I don't have any message for. My question to you is, what did you figure about this world that you're in now after seeing your dad's journey? Like, did you observe? Did you keep a track?
I observed that he kept bouncing back. That's the only real thing to observe, because otherwise most of the experiences, at least that I've had as an actor, are very internal. So the observation needn't necessarily be external. But what I observed about him is that whether he does a film that does really badly or whether he does a film that does superbly well, by Monday he's normal again. And I think that's very, very important. What I also observe about him on a daily basis is that he really lives by having a balance between his personal and professional life. He takes his work very, very seriously, but his family matters to him. The need for experiences outside of Bandra and Juhu matter to him. The need for going into the countryside and just hanging out matters to him. And I think that in the world that we live in, sometimes it's perceived as lack of ambition, lack of focus to have desires external to the films. But I think that in the long run, it's necessary.
What do you mean desires external to the film? Like travel?
Like so many people, like sometimes it can become a mindset that I want to work 365 days a year. And if you don't, you're like, "Arey yaar, kaam chor hai wahan ki aang." You know, like, but that's not always the case. Like, it's not, you know, kabhi kabhar chutti bhi theek hota hai na, usme kya? You know, that does happen. I'm serious. I'm telling you.
Go on.
That's the case. You know, so it shouldn't be like that. You should be able to take some time off every now and then, because it also helps.
Yeah.
You know, it helps you unwind. It helps you kind of refigure yourself a little bit. I remember when I was shooting for Lakshman sir in Indore, and then I had to start shooting for Gaslight like 5 days later. And I just went to Kashmir for 3 days. I called up one of my best friends, Manan, and I was like, I'm coming to Pahalgam and Gulmarg. And he was like, just come. And I was in the snow, and I was, you know, just like waking up early and having, you know, doing whatever I like to do, walking around, tazi hawa. And it helps. It helps you reset a little bit, especially if you give the job everything, which most of us do, I think, now, hopefully. Then you invest so much of yourself that you need to kind of take it back a little bit. Same thing happened after I shot Everton, which is a film that I'm shooting. After I shot, I wanted to take a little bit of a break with my mom. I took the break. Now I'm shooting with homie in Delhi. So it's important, I think, to keep taking breaks.
I think it also builds character, traveling.
100%. Experience,
Yeah.
character, both.
New clips released at the same time that a podcast releases. This is TRS Clips. Make sure you subscribe.